Hi, I'm Zane with Zane Engineers Life. So I had an engineering student come by yesterday, talk about how to make connections and expand his network. And that was pretty cool because normally I don't take pop-up meetings during the week, but he wouldn't take no for an answer and is very resourceful, so that's pretty awesome, right? Here's what we talked about. One of the first things you want to do early in your career is start to build your connection database. Now you can look into softwares and apps and CRM systems and whatever the latest tools and gadgets are for keeping up with names and phone numbers and addresses and LinkedIn profiles. But short of anything else, and as any good engineer would do, maybe you just open Excel and start putting in information. The important thing is you want to create a system of keeping up with who people are, what keywords are associated with them, what area and location of the country they're in, and their special personal interests like birthdays or whether they have kids or whether they like a certain football team. And most importantly, you want to note for how you can help them. Maybe they told you something they needed, or maybe you saw them post something on LinkedIn, or maybe you've never talked to them or heard about them in your entire life, and you notice something about them or their career that gets posted, and you send them a copy of it and tell them, hey, I thought you might be interested in this. That's a great icebreaker, right? The second great question he asked me was how often to hit up your connections. Now, every one of us has that member of the family that only comes around when they need something and only calls if they need money or something's wrong with their car or they need something moved. And what do we think about that person? They're assholes and you don't want anything to do with them, right? So you don't want to be that person with your connections. Now, one of the cool things about using a CRM or a database is that you can pull a weekly report. You can see whose birthday it is that week, see who you haven't talked to in 6 months, or maybe search for people in your network that can help you with a current issue you're having. Then reach out to them. But Zane, how do I do that? You could text, email, Snap, DM, Facebook Messenger, hit them up on Discord, LinkedIn chat, or just hit that little dial icon on your phone and actually talk to them. But hey, you got their voicemail. Here's a good message. Hey William, this is Zane. Haven't talked in forever. Let's see if we could help each other with work or life or whatever. Hit me on Slack and let me know a good time to talk for 6 minutes one day next week. Love, Zane. Super hard, right? I mean, I barely even made it through all that with all the heavy lifting and anxiety. Remember, we're engineers. We help people. That means sometimes we have to use our actual God-given voice to speak to people to help them. But Zane, I don't know what to say. Of course you don't. You've probably had 11 phone conversations in your entire life. What do you think it looked like the 11th time you tried to walk as a baby? Or the 11th time you tried to ride a bike? You get better through reps. Make the calls. Talk to people. It's okay. You won't die. How often and how do you use your connections? If you've been following my advice so far and regularly using your database, and when you have a few extra minutes in a line, or you're at a red light, or even in the bathroom, if you've been checking up on people and wishing them happy birthdays and sending them a note about something they might be interested in, when you do finally call them and ask, hey, do you know anyone that knows anyone that could help me? Since you've been connecting with them and you guys have been talking regularly, they're going to be very likely to help you, or be very clear if they can't and point you in the direction of someone that can. Let's take this back to family for a second. If your brother stops by every day to say hello and check on you, you're going to be a lot more likely to help him immediately and to the best of your ability than if your jerk cousin calls you out of the blue after 2 years and wants to borrow $300, right? It's the same with your contacts. See if you genuinely care about people and you do your best to help them always, well, karma's coming and it's bringing gifts. But Zane, that sounds great, but my only contacts are my mom and one professor that took pity on me and a weird kid that I had to do a project with last semester. Okay, so the question is, how do you build your network? Let's start sitting in front of your computer. Go on LinkedIn and search for people in your area. Then send them a message. Introduce yourself. Say you're just starting your career, and do they know anyone or any groups in the area that you could connect with? Then do a Google Maps search of your local area for career interests and keywords. Hell, just sign up for Toastmasters and you'll meet a bunch of other shy people trying to figure out how to connect with people. If you can find no one else, heck, connect with me on LinkedIn. Now let's look at connections you could make at work. Search your company directory Walk around and look at job titles on doors and start to ask yourself, who are the people getting things done and the people that know what they're doing? Then stop by one day or send them a company email. Say something like this: "Hey Sam, I'm Zane. I'm a new engineer or intern in the gearing department. I'm looking to make some connections and see what cool people work here. Could I buy you lunch one day next week in exchange for answering one question?" I mean, no one's going to say no to that. And if they do, you just ask them again next week. Now let's look at connections you could make at school if you're still there. Go to the senior projects presentations and take down all the names. You want to connect with those people on LinkedIn because they go to your school and they're about to graduate and go out in the world and connect with other people. Search your college sites for clubs and groups and competitions that you can go help with or sign up for. If nothing else, stand up in the crowded cafeteria and say, "Hi everyone, I'm Zane, I'm in mechanical engineering, and I'm getting killed in thermodynamics. Anyone know anyone that can help me? I'll buy Chick-fil-A." Yes, it will be super embarrassing, but if it gets you a lifeline connection or a lifetime connection, it will be worth it. So in summary, get your database tool working. Excel, Google Sheets, if you've got nothing else. Then fill in that database, then continuously connect with your connections. Nurture them, grow them, like an amazing garden of opportunity. Your life and your career will only improve as you get out of your comfort zone and start helping and connecting with others. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You've got this. I'm Zane with Zane Engineers Life, and we'll make you better.